What's up, Goober? Cash is finally out in CS2, and I am a very happy guy. You probably know that I make massive map guide videos. I will do one of those for Cash eventually, but for now, I just wanted to cover the basics before we see Valve make more changes to the map, and as we see the meta develop in CS2. So this is a guide for CT side, and because I haven't done a more condensed version of this type of map guide video, please comment if you liked it, and maybe I'll do one for T side as well. In this video, you're going to get the crucial early round timings, you're going to get an overview of the CT side default, along with how to play each position. Let's get going with those early round timings. Between the two best spawns, the CTs very easily beat the Ts to peak this angle on B. With the same spawns, the cross into checkers for CTs was pretty close. It felt like the best spawn for T would always be able to spot the best spawn for CT crossing into checkers. Towards middle with the best spawns, a CT cannot get all the way down mid without getting peeked by a T from garage. However, the CT with the best spawn will always be able to cross into highway without getting spotted. Also, with that best spawn, a CT can swing into A main before the Ts can get out A, and the CT can swing the Ts in door. Before we move on to the CT side default and how to play each position, thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. SkinsMonkey is a trusted automated CS2 trading site. It's super easy to use. All you have to do is pick something in your inventory, check how much it's worth, and then go get something new from the monkey. What's also super nice is the filters you can use to narrow down your searches. You can either use your skins to trade for new ones or deposit money with their 30% bonus offer. This becomes 35% when you use my code Wilson. Please use it. Using my code, you can also get up to $5 for free. Use my code Wilson, link is in the description. For our CT side default, we're going to have two players towards B. These players are trying to block this choke point here rather than this one because the CTs want control of checkers and to prevent the Ts from taking checkers. Towards middle, we have a Z player. This player is typically the opper who's taking these long range fights towards garage and towards boost. We also have a highway player who is the fast rotate over towards A. This is kind of the donk roll. Think of like connector on Mirage, right? They're very quick rotate to A, but they can take a lot of fights here in mid. And lastly, we have the A anchor who of course has to worry about A main as well as door. When door is opened, often this player can ask their highway player to come help them, along with any, reasonable pressure from A main. They can call for rotates, try to stay alive. Let's move on to how to hold B on CT side. Like I said in the default section, typically you want two B players. Now, there's really no great reason to go through tree rather than going through heaven. If you go through heaven, it's just faster. And when you go through heaven, you can throw the default B block smoke, which is this smoke right here. You're just going to run around this corner and aim just around this line or a little above it. And this smoke is going to block this choke point here. Now I need to really emphasize this. For B site, this is not the choke. This is B main, and it's not the choke point we want to hold early in the round. This is the choke point we want to hold. The reason for this is that checkers is a very powerful position once the Ts take control of it, because now on B, if the Ts have checkers, right, they can split us from B main and from checkers. So typically the goal early for CTs is to play for checkers control, which is why you want two players playing towards B. Having one person do this job is really difficult. So what this could look like is one player throwing the smoke and crossing into checkers. They're going out this way, and the second player is going towards site, and they're going to be throwing supportive util for this checkers player. Be cautious of dropping here and instantly crossing, because the best CT spawn can cross almost for free. They might get spotted by the best T spawn if they're rushing B. However, if you don't have the best spawn on CT, be more mindful of it. So instead of instantly crossing, right, you can throw your smoke, drop safely, pause, wait for the smoke to land, and then go and cross into checkers safely. As this checkers player, you can flash for yourself to peek sunroom. You can just bounce a flash against this window and then boom, peek here. This flash is reactable. However, if a T is just going to stand here and hold this angle, they're going to get blinded, so it's going to force them off the angle, which is quite nice. That too then allows you to cross over into this side or to cross over here and play behind this bin. These can be really annoying positions for T's to get you out of, especially if they don't have a smoke in B main, a good T lurk smoke. That way, if the T's are trying to get you out of this kind of spot, your teammate on site can play a crossfire with you and help protect you. Do be mindful of the vents, right? The T's have to break this vent. I've already broken it, but they have to break this vent. So that gives you an audio warning that, hey, the T's could peek me in vent now. And once they break that vent, it's pretty spooky to play a spot like this, right? Because you are just killable from vent. So either getting into a spot like this underneath the vent where they would have to get out of the vent to kill you, or playing back here where you can time out peaks on vent and time out peaks on this angle here. Along with that, if you're playing a spot like that, then your teammate can just flash in front of you like this, and then you can just swing off of that to get these kills here in checkers. Some good spots to play on B. One is, of course, headshot. Playing right here, super strong position, especially if you picked up an AK from the T's. Just be cautious of if the T's could be in checkers. You don't want to play right here anymore. You want to back up and play an angle like this. Playing around default right here is really good as well. It's a bit confusing because I've heard people call this default. However, the default bomb plant on B-side cache is right here. So I don't know, I'm going to call it default, but remember that's where you plant the bomb. Playing around this default is quite good because you can bounce flashes against this and peek with these. You can also drop defensive smokes for yourself like that, and boom, this again forces the T's into an awkward situation to get you out of sight. One more spot I want to show you is getting up here and then jumping to this. Now, keep in mind, if you do this jump early round, T's from Sunroom will be able to hear it. So it is safer to get boosted onto this. That way it's silent and the T's, don't know that you're going to be up here. And from here, if the T's push out B main, then you have like kind of a wicked off angle because of this pipe, right? You're sitting here, T's are going to get out, clear sight. And if they insta clear you, right, this is in the way. So they're going to clear out this way, and then boom, now you're right there. Moving on to middle. Middle is the key to cache. This is a very important space to the map because if the T's don't have mid, then they have very, very little space. So holding mid as CTs, very important, very impactful. Like I said, in the default section towards middle, we're going to have one Z player. This space is called Z, and we're going to have one highway player, which is this space right here. Typically, the Z player is the opper. I don't have the opper right now, but this is the opper, and the highway player is an aggressive rifler who's looking for fights. Early round util you can throw to deny middle from the T's. One is just an early smoke. You just turn the corner and you aim at this little X in the ground right there, and you just left click run throw, and this is going to land nicely into garage. You can also throw a molly onto boost. Now, these mollies have been bouncing off this roof like that, but then still landing, so that works. If you want to line up, you can run out here, aim at the bottom right of the green door, and just left click jump throw. That one's going to land very consistently. What I personally have been throwing a lot instead of the smoke is a molly plus an HE. And the reason for that is because T's have been super aggressive in my games, right? They're throwing this smoke, they're getting out middle really quick, really fast, right? Boom, they're throwing this flash and they're out. If I smoke garage, I can't stop this, right? A smoke does nothing to stop that. So instead, a molly plus an HE, that's going to put that play to kaputs. What is the phrase? It's kaputs that play, right? Now with that util, keep in mind, if you're the highway player, you need one of the really good spawns to cross over this way if you're not mollying and nading garage, if you're not denying that space, right? Otherwise, as you're crossing, you could get picked by a T peeking this angle with an op. So if you're the highway player and you have one of the worst spawns, definitely just go via A site. Go through this way, so that way you are safe from getting picked. Another benefit to throwing a molly plus a nade is that this util allows you to push close, right? Because it is a much stronger denial of space than just a smoke there. You can throw the molly, the nade, and start shift walking here. You do want a teammate to throw a boost molly for you. Otherwise, right, as you get up here and you start walking, a T could just swing boost, or you could have a teammate hold it, but just keep that in mind. Once you're up here, you could have your teammate smoke garage, or you can just play a close angle like this and bang, now you're pushed up middle, right? Because keep in mind, the timing is pretty bad for CTs to push mid. You can get to around this area before the Ts can swing you. If you're the Z player and you're rifling, then throwing the Util set and getting out towards sandbags is quite strong, because from here, right, you can play to fight the boost. You can swing off of your highway player's contact for anybody who's out mid, and this is a great spot to throw defensive smokes from, right? You can drop a smoke in front of you, and this gives you so much space to play around where now the Ts have to push the smoke to get you out of the spot. And if a T tries to walk up above you, then hopefully your highway player can spot them doing that. One silly play you can make that is very high risk is jumping onto here and then making this jump. I absolutely suck at it, but you essentially jump from here to here, here to here, and then up onto boost. Alternatively, if you and your teammate get down mid, then you guys can boost right here, and that gets a teammate up onto the boost. Now, I know in a lot of your pugs, you guys aren't going to be playing 2 players towards B. Often you're going to be playing 3 players towards mid, and I would say don't do that. But if you are doing that, then one key goal for you guys should be is to deny vent from the Ts in middle. That way, you're really helping out your solo B player, and you're making use of the fact that you're playing 3 middle, right? So if you're 3 mid, try to take full mid control. Don't play 3 mid passively, otherwise you're full selling out your B player. As this highway player, you're free to be really aggressive and look for fights. Playing behind the white box is always solid, and playing up here is really good too. This spool gives you a ton of space, so you can be swinging back and forth really aggressively like this on it. If your Z player is smoked off and they can't help you at all, they're not being proactive, then you're going to have to be a bit more passive in the spot, right? It's harder to like really fight for mid if your Z player is just playing behind a smoke. Something else to keep in mind as this highway player is that if you're up in this area, you are not going to be able to hear the door open. You can hear the door open once you're up in this spot. Like essentially once you can see the door, you can kind of hear it open. But if you're committed to mid, you can't. So be mindful that if your A player is no calming, they're not telling you anything, that once you rotate back, door might be open and you might not have heard it. Last on CT, we have the A rifler. One way you can start the round is just by getting next to truck right here and aiming at this point right here in between the windows. It's right above the middle of A main, and just left click throwing. This is a nice deep smoke into A main. Boom, that is super friggin' lurky, right? This makes it pretty awkward for Ts to push the space because potentially, right, you could push through the back of it, you could flash and swing through the left side of it, and if you push through the back of it silent, then you can play angles like this, where you can see over the top of it and even up here. An important factor for the A player is pressuring A main, making the Ts feel uncomfortable with taking A, like they have to take it slowly, they can't just walk up completely for free. One flash you can throw if you have a teammate who wants to push A main, or if you just want to pressure A main, is right here, just against this wall, and the bottom of the green box right there, left click throw. This is a perfect flash that pops behind somebody who's swinging A main. In terms of where to play on A, it depends on what your goal is and if you have teammates with you. Now, if your team has been really passive mid and the Ts have been really heavy mid, then you should play to take A main control early or slightly delayed, right? That's kind of the balance of CT cash. If you don't have middle, then you want A main control. If you have middle, you don't need A main control, right? It's this pendulum that swings back and forth. Ts take mid, you take A main. Ts have A main, you guys try to take mid, right? So if the Ts have been super aggressive in middle, but not so much in A main, right? Maybe it's one A lurk or nobody's going A main early, then fighting for the space, really powerful, right? When you're playing A solo, you want to avoid playing one and done positions unless you're super confident that it's just going to be one person lurking A main and you're not going to get split, you're not going to get rushed by multiple people, right? So angles like this are kind of meh. They're good if you can set up a crossfire with somebody on your team on the site. However, if you're full alone, then you're very tradable and you can die from door, right? So when you're alone, playing fork can be quite good, right? This is a little more high risk, but also you're really able to get a lot of kills from fork. Alternatively, just playing towards site or playing quad is more so what you're going to be doing for the most part. With A main, you want to avoid, as a rifler, taking the fights when the Ts are really ready for the fights. And what I mean by that is when the Ts are executing A, you don't want to take this fight right here when there's still an A main. You want to take it as they're scaling out, right? And they have to clear fork, they have to clear catwalk, they have to clear top shroud maybe, they have to clear NBK, they have to worry about sight, right? They have so much to worry about when they scale out of A main. But if you're taking these fights in A main, they're just raw duels and you're likely just to get traded, right? So let the T's scale and then swing off of them scaling and being in the open, because they're likely hard clearing fork, right? They're likely not to be looking at you. In terms of door is a high risk, high reward position for T's, right? Maybe they open it and instantly get a pick onto somebody fork or cat, but actually pushing out door is really awkward because you're exposed to highway and then you have to swing sight. It's a tiny little choke point, so it's hard to get a lot of people out there quickly. And when you open door as a T, it opens this way, which means, yes, it gives you cover as a T, but if I'm trying to like instantly kill somebody's sight, I have to open it and then swing out, you know, wide past it, right? I can't just swing the choke immediately and get the kill here. So don't worry too much about door. Play door off of the sound unless you're like full exposed to door, right? If you're like sitting here, then this is really spooky. Or if you're sitting like here exposed to it, that's really spooky. Something you can think about as an A anchor is considering this spot right here as a choke and as like your best, your easiest choke to get kills in, right? Because T's, as they swing out A main, right? If they have a smoke here, maybe they mollied fork, they're getting out this way. Now they've cleared this choke. The second choke they have to clear is here. So if you didn't use your smoke early, dropping a smoke onto this choke can be really strong, because then boom, if the T smoked this, oh my god, what do I do as a T here, right? Super awkward. Alternatively, if you haven't used your molly, then dropping your molly right here is really good. That buys time for your highway player to then flash in front of you like this, right? Your highway player can support you super easily with flashes. Boom, they flash. This molly's still here, bang, and you're swinging off of that. From here, you can also flash for yourself to swing. Of course, you can left and right click behind you, or you can right click one here. If you get into this corner and aim at this corner here and just left click, this flash is going to pop behind you, and it's going to be really annoying for T's to deal with because it's so close to them, but it's behind you and they have to stare at it. You swing in front of it, you get kills. Goober, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Go check out my other map guide videos. They're pretty cool and they took me a really long time. I would appreciate it. Shout out to my channel members. They support me and allow me to be a goober on the internet. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day and good luck and have fun in all of your future games. Peace.